Spendthrift Farm introduces for 2019 the Safe Bet program. Breed to a fourth-year stallion and watch his first crop of 2-year-olds have measurable success on the track in 2019, or you won't owe the stud fee when your foal is born. Visit spendthriftfarm.com/safebet for more. Spendthrift, the breeder's farm.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Keeneland Babies, presented by Spendthrift, the breeder's farm. I'm Dan Illman. Nicole Russo on the phone today. She has been very, very busy covering the bluegrass draw down at Keeneland. Let's take a look at the field, however, for Friday's Keeneland Baby race. We are kicking off the 50-cent early pick 4, and Spendthrift Stallions bookend this 12-horse field. The number 1 At the Beach is by It's My Lucky Day, and the number 12 Colton's Court is by Hampton Court, who stands at the Spendthrift Satellite Farm in Australia. We'll take a look at the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1 At the Beach by Spendthrift Stallion It's My Lucky Day. And this $14,000 RNA, Nicole, has some sprint in the bottom of her family. It's My Lucky Day has good numbers with 2-year-old first-time starters.
Yeah, he's really kind of sneaky good with his first-time starters. He's a brilliant horse himself in Lawyer Ron. You'd expect him to inject a little bit of precocity. It's My Lucky Day, a really nice physical, and I think he's throwing nice physicals. The dam of At the Beach was a winning sprinter. She's half to a stakes-performing turf sprinter. The second dam, a multiple stakes-winning dirt sprinter. There's a lot of speed on that bottom half of the pedigree.
The number 2 Baytown Legend, like At the Beach, is trained by Paul McEntee. This one shows a bullet workout at Keeneland on March the 21st. Baytown Legend sold for $3,000 as a yearling by Girolamo, a 12% 2-year-old first-time stallion. But we look at the bottom of this pedigree. Boy, the dam was a 2-year-old debut winner at Keeneland. She was able to carve out a nice career for herself as a multiple stakes place runner and has been perfect, 5 for 5 with her foals on the track.
Yeah, and Girolamo, that rare son of AP Indy, who was maybe at his best going shorter distances. We've discussed a little bit already that I like seeing a horse with a couple of works at Keeneland. I think at this point, when they're all first-time starters, anything you can look for in terms of an experience edge counts. So I like it when a horse is familiar with the Keeneland surface, familiar with the surroundings, and Baytown Legend maybe could work out a good trick from the inside under a rider who's done very well at Keeneland recently.
Moving on to the number 3, Musta Never Met You. This is a colt by Discreet Cat, 8% winners with juvenile debut runners. This one sold for $2,500 as a yearling, but has a nice, classy pedigree on the bottom. The dam, a half-sister to several nice horses, including Canadian champion Spring in the Air. And we mentioned in the opening day Keeneland Baby report that this trainer, Robert McCutcheon, has sent out some long-shot Keeneland Babies to hit the board at big prices in recent years.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, yeah, Dan, and that's definitely a really classy family on a number of surfaces, and some good juveniles coming out of the family, like Spring in the Air and others.
Number 4 is Thirsty Junior. This is a $3,500 yearling by Stay Thirsty, who connects with 8% of his juvenile debut runners. Dam has been productive. She has foaled 3 winners from 4 runners. I wonder if this colt might appreciate a little bit more distance down the road. However, the dam, a full sister to During, who is a nice graded stakes winner going long.
Yeah, and and I'm wondering if this one is going to be fully cranked up for his debut. Looking at the work tabs, fired at Bullet Work in February, then had a couple of weeks off, and has kind of worked, moderately well since then. I'm wondering if this was coming to hand so fast, and they said, okay, let's slow it down a little. We've got a long year ahead of us. But Stay Thirsty is really starting to come alive with some of his horses. He had that Grade 1 winning juvenile Mind Control last year.
Number 5 is Not Again Jackie. This one sold for $25,000 as a yearling. This is a colt by a Fleet Alex, who connects with 9% of his juvenile debut runners. There's some speed on the bottom of this pedigree. The dam, a half-sister to the Nice Wine Police, a multiple stakes winner going short on the dirt. Trainer John Hancock has hit the board with over half of his Keeneland Babies over the past 5 years.
Yeah, and you know what? I had to do a double take when I saw, John Hancock at 6-1 on the morning line. I think that's, in this horse coming up, a Bullet Work. I think the morning line is probably a function both of a very strong-looking Wesley Ward first-time starter, who we'll get to a little bit later on, and, this one's pedigree I don't think jumps out and strikes you as a solid, early run type of pedigree by a Fleet Alex out of a Street Sense mare. Both of those stallions classic winners in their own right. But yeah, Not Again Jackie is coming off, a solid bullet move at Keeneland, and might be one to take a look at if you watch the board, if he stays up near those odds.
The great first out trainer Wesley Ward has 2 entered on Friday. We'll begin with the number 6 Main Squeeze, who attracts Jose Ortiz. Ward was only 10 for 17 last year, with 2-year-old first-time starters going this 4.5 furlong distance at the Keeneland Spring Meet. Main Squeeze, a $9,000 yearling by Country Day, who connects with 7% of his juvenile debut runners. This dam a perfect 3 for 3 winners from runners, training over the synthetic surface at Turfway Park.
Yeah, which is, it's something Wesley Ward does at this time of year. He'll ship horses up from his Lexington base to work at Turfway all winter, to work over kind of a true racing surface as opposed to the Keeneland training track, which is a bit smaller. This one, has some nice works. And Country Day is maybe a lesser-known stallion, but, Wesley Ward isn't afraid to pick up a horse by a lesser-known stallion type of horse, physically, pedigree-wise, it's going to fit his program. Country Day, a stakes-performing sprinter in his own right, and he can sire a very fast horse. He has the likes of Will Call out there, who won the Twin Spires Turf Sprint last year on Derby weekend, and other stakes-performing sprinters.
The number 7 is Clongiffen. This is a filly by Tail of the Cat, a $22,000 buyback as a yearling. Tail of the Cat does very well with 2-year-old first-time starters. This is the family of Grade 1 stakes winner Secret Status. It looks like this filly has been working in company with Biddy Duke, who is entered as an also eligible in the Keeneland Baby race on Thursday.
Yeah, and this is a good time to point out that we will have clocker reports from our team on DRF.com throughout the Keeneland meet. Those will definitely give you some more insight into these races, whereas, as we said, all you really have to go on is pedigree and connections and work tab. Clongiffen, you mentioned that outstanding female family. And, Secret Status in the family, their winner of the Kentucky Oaks, went on to produce the likes of Classic Place Dunkirk, who's by Unbridled Song, the broodmare sire of Clongiffen. So this has been a cross that's worked well in the past.
Number 8 is City Front, and as we see, this $5,500 yearling purchase has some nice speed and ability on the bottom of the pedigree. The dam was multiple stakes placed, a versatile runner. The dam has already foaled 1 debut winner, and she is a half to the multiple Grade 3 stakes placed juvenile Special Joe. Tell us about this interesting first crop stallion, Summerfront.
Well, Summerfront, of course, he's a son of Warfront. Warfront, a very good juvenile sire. Summerfront did some of his best work on the turf. And I think that's what people are making him out to be, is, perhaps a turf sire. His offspring actually selling very well today over at a Tattersall's breeze-up sale across the pond there, his first crop of 2-year-olds. So I think Summerfront is expected to be a bit of a turf sire. That being said, I think there is juvenile ability there because of Warfront.
Looks like that late February workout might have gone in company with the Barnes Third Eye, who's entered in the opening day maiden race for Keeneland Babies, race number 1 on Thursday. All eyes likely to be on the number 9, Lady Pauline, the second of the 2 Wesley Ward trained fillies, expected to take on the boys. Lady Pauline is a half to the multiple Grade 1 stakes winning turf sprinter, the brilliant Lady Aurelia. She is also a half to the stakes place sprinter Titletown 5. The sire Munnings wins with a very good 15% rate with 2-year-old first-time starters. And this dam to Wildcat Speed, she was a very classy win machine as well. Just lots to like with Lady Pauline from the Ward barn.
Oh, absolutely. And, everybody remembers Lady Aurelia for what she did in Europe, a European champion, just globe-trotting Group 1 star. But Lady Aurelia broke her maiden on the Keeneland dirt in one of these races a few years back, and I believe set a track record in the process. You're getting added dirt ability from Munnings. And if you want to talk about trainer intent, I know Wesley Ward and Stone Street, which owns and bred Lady Pauline, would love to get a nice race into this filly and perhaps target her for Royal Ascot in June in the mold of her older half-sister. So Lady Pauline, I do expect to be, cranked first out.
And I expect her to be bet hard, perhaps even harder than the 2-to-1 on the morning line. The 10 is Banana Pepper, and this is a colt that's a long shot to keep an eye out of. He is by a creative cause, acceptable 12% winning percentage with 2-year-old first-time starters. I look at this pedigree on the bottom. I do wonder if it's a more long-distance pedigree. The dam did her best running going long on the turf. She is a half to a graded stakes winning dirt router named Patton's Victory. But I wonder if Banana Pepper's the kind of horse that makes a late run and maybe spices up your single race exotics.
Yeah, I do look at Banana Pepper and think some more distance might be the key for him. You also mentioned some turf ability on the bottom side of the page. Creative cause being by Giants Causeway, I think he has the ability to sire a turf horse in his own right as well. So Banana Pepper, I'm looking for some more distance, and this might be one to keep an eye out on another fish down the line.
The 11-2 dot goes out for John Hancock. We've talked about his ability with these kind of horses, although I wonder if this one is more turfy from a pedigree standpoint. Sold at the sire, 7% winners with 2-year-old first-time starters. The dam placed on turf, and this is the family of Unusual Heat, who for many, many years was a stalwart turf stallion in California.
Yeah, and Unusual Heat just dominated the California stallion ranks, could sire them on anything, I think. But 2-dot is also from the female family of Grade 1 winning turf runner Next Shares, who's out there now. We've talked about Soldat. He was kind of a versatile, multi-purpose horse. But overall, when you put everything together, the impression this one gives me is turf as well.
Completing the field is the number 12, Colton's Court, Spendthrift bred by Spendthrift stallion Hampton Court, who stands at the Spendthrift satellite facility in Australia. A $2,200 yearling purchase, but this dam was quick enough to be stakes place sprinting, and there's a lot of class on the bottom of this pedigree. The dam's a half-sister to include a graded stakes winner, Magic Broad, a graded stakes winner, both of those horses going long. Lots of black type on the bottom of this pedigree. Maybe this horse needs a little bit more distance. Tell us about Hampton Court.
Well, Hampton Court, I think, is really fascinating. Spendthrift expanded into Australia and acquired him to stand at their Australian satellite. He's a son of leading Australian sire Redoubt's Choice. And Hampton Court, a Group 1 winning 2-year-old in his own right, also from the family of 3-time Melbourne Cup winner Maccabi Diva. He's actually the first horse in this freshman class off the mark with a winner. He has a winner in Mexico, a filly who was bred in Kentucky by Spendthrift. He's already had a starter or two in Australia from his first crop there, where they're into the fall of their racing season. So his runners are emerging early. As I said, he a Group 1 winning 2-year-old himself. I think he's pretty fascinating.
Pick time for the first leg of the early pick 4 on Friday at Keeneland, race number 2. We'll have to make our picks without benefit of watching the tote board or taking a look at these horses in the paddock. I think that Lady Pauline's going to be very tough. It's not the most clever opinion in the world. She'll be my top selection. I'll use Banana Pepper, the 10 underneath. 9-10 for me.
Yeah, I do think Lady Pauline is the most likely winner. If you're choosing between the Ward horses, I just think the intent with this one is so strong. The expectations trying to get her to move on to big things. But, so much can happen in 4.5 furlongs. And if she were to stub her toe out of the gate, I think underneath, I might take a look at the other Ward training, Main Squeeze, if she's ignored a little bit in favor of her stablemate. I think Not Again Jackie from the Hancock barn. And I am going to look at Colton's Court a little bit if he can work out a trip. As I said, I'm really fascinated by that stallion.
Race number 2 at Keeneland on Friday is part of our Keeneland Babies program all spring long during the spring Keeneland meet, and our coverage is presented by Spendthrift Farm.